illegals with guns. What is going on?
All right, so this week, corrupt Obama-appointed federal judge Sharon Johnson Coleman has ruled illegal immigrants are all good to start carrying firearms. So now the Second Amendment not only applies to U.S. citizens, but also these foreign invaders who've already proven disregard and disrespect for our laws. Obviously, this is the next phase in their master plan. We know this now, right? As despite differences, they've made sure to sow within us, whether it be our race, our color. We have one thing that kind of unites us still, and that's we're Americans. So it's real hard for them to sort of kind of get us to fully buy into like a civil war. So what are they doing? And now they're pumping in their own soldiers. So, So yeah, it's a crazy time, man.
Where is she? What state is this?
Was
she Texas?
Where is she? Yes. Matter of fact, she may be.
But dude,
this is the lovely Sharon.
So where's she at? It's already passed. She's already said or she's introducing this bill.
Yeah, she tried to put it through last week. I think they put a halt to it right now. But
what is your motivation as a judge to let a person that can give two shits about anybody in this country, as if we're not learning that, guess what? Obviously not all of them, but a couple of illegals have been going around the country raping underage girls, shooting them after they raped them. Like, what kind of stupid... can I take a wild guess? Is she a Democrat?
That's a great guess.
Wow.
Oh, am I?
Good job,
Lenny.
Let's be honest here. It's not like the illegal immigrants were waiting for permission to carry guns. Because you just said, they're going around, they're raping, they're shooting. Yeah, they're shooting with the guns they already had. So thanks, Judge. You gave them permission to do what they were doing.
And it's crazy how quickly it's happening, because in just a matter of the last few years now, there's been more illegals now moved over here than the population of 36 different states. So their army is growing, and it's growing fast.
Oh my God.
And we've seen these people have no regards for our laws. So what makes us think now that they're gonna,
I think what they're trying to do is create a total controversy where now there's so many guns and so many illegals using them that they have to crack down on the Second Amendment. So they're making it so prolific that they can actually take it away.
What a great tactic. If you're like, hey, listen, gun crime, like people are killing civilians. They're not going to say that they're illegal or not.
No,
it's just this person was shot, this person was murdered, bro. It's all a freaking plan. And Connor, I forgot a while ago you had a story. What was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was going to bring this up. Dick Durbin, a senator from Illinois, I believe, proposed this a little while ago of supplementing declining military recruitment numbers by allowing illegals to come into the army. And great, they're already armed. Might as well give them military training and use them to fight our enemies abroad. Sure. Right.
Bro,
that's absolutely not going to come back to bite us.
Can I ask you guys a question? Rob, I want to know your opinion too. When this type of by the way, this is a federal judge. This isn't, even if it was just a rinky-dink judge, you are a judge. Like the system trusts you beyond reasonable doubt. Like you're the person. Rob, at the end of the day, these people still have to live in the same country that you're doing all this shit to. What is the end game goal? Are they promised to be taken care of when the takeover happens? I don't get it.
But do they have to live in the same country that you and I live in? Like, yeah, they may live in the United States of America, but they're not going to experience the same things that you're experiencing, that I'm experiencing. Unfortunately, there's a have and have not system in this country where certain people, when you reach a certain level, you're protected from this. It's easy for Bill Maher to go on his podcast and go, I don't see what's wrong with California, when you have a personal driver that picks you up at your house, drives you to the studio. Yeah. Like we had, these people aren't dealing with the everyday consequences of these actions.
Got you.
Whereas the average American citizen is, and that's why you're hearing citizens of the United States going, enough. Why are we just handing out cash to migrants? Why are we sending these people to Chicago and putting them up in apartments and giving them $1,000 towards furniture? Why are we evacuating children's shelters in Boston and housing migrants there? The actual people that are in these communities are now rising up and saying enough is enough, because the elites that are making these decisions don't have to suffer the consequences that we do. So I feel like there is pushback. It's just there's a problem of getting all of these people that are pushing back in Chicago. They're pushing back in New York. They're pushing back in Boston. They're pushing back in Texas, right? It's all over the place of these small people pushing back, but there's no way we need to find a way to unite those voices for a greater good, and we haven't found a way yet.
There's another common denominator here too. Look at who was pushing against the bill for Texas to start deporting illegals directly. Look at this thing that Chris just brought up. What's the kind of the common through line in all these immigration bills? Female judges.
Oh, that's a great point.
And it's not a can of worms most people are willing to open up.
Open it.
But liberal female judges are having a catastrophic effect on policy around the country. You remember a couple months ago where there was that guy who was being sentenced for some random thing, and he did a flying leap over the bench and started trying to attack the judge?
Was that New York?
I forget where that was.
I think it was New York.
But did you
in
see
Las Vegas?
Yeah, if it was Vegas.
Yeah,
it was a great jump, by the way.
Did you see the follow-up to that where the guy appeared back before the judge for sentencing like 3 days later?
What happened?
They had him into like
Full
Hannibal
B-mask.
Lecter, right? His whole face was passed.
The book got thrown at him. He got charged with like assault on an elderly person, assault on an officer of the court, like 30 different charges. And it's like, oh, suddenly when someone attacks a judge directly, they turn into an Old West hanging judge.
Yeah.
But had he would have gotten a slap on the wrist if he had just kept his hands to himself.
That's a great point. Yeah. So if he attacks somebody else, yes, there's a punishment and maybe he'll get sentenced to jail. But look at how the consequences are when it's somebody in a position of power.
When it takes a flying leap over the bench and starts trying to punch you in the face, suddenly it's a problem.
Yeah, he's flying through the subway car and beating us up, and we just have to deal with it. But don't touch the judge. Don't touch a Biden member.
Of course.
I like how when Donald Trump took a few documents from his presidency and kept them in Mar-a-Lago,
which
a
is
very
legal,
safe place to be kept. They're like, no one is above the law. But as soon as illegals are above the wall, then they're like, oh, we don't need to enforce every law.
Yeah.
And
Same thing
remember-
happens with me. With a parking ticket, they're on my ass.
Yeah.
But with someone like crossing a border, they're like,
don't give a
do
shit.
drugs on the side of the street.
Biden is too old and stupid to be held accountable for taking documents.
I
with him.
thought that's where you're going. It's like Trump, legally, he was the president. He could take it. Biden, by the way, was with a ghostwriter and was telling him all this secret shit.
Every
and they're
secret.
Like, he's old and crazy.
His
He doesn't
defense
know-
was he's
but
too
he's a
stupid.
nice guy.
Yeah, he's old. And he loves his son, the crackhead. That's fatherly love for your crackhead degenerate. Chris, what were you going to say?
Yeah, you saw how abundantly clear the difference in like classes are here when the COVID thing happened. When every rule that they try to implement against us civilians, they broke.
Right.
That was sort of what gave me the idea that maybe this isn't serious. Like I shouldn't be afraid to fly if you're flying your mother on Easter. And I shouldn't be afraid to go to this restaurant if you guys are having 15 people parties at the restaurant.
But you don't
get your
understand.
haircut.
They also quarantined. They suffered too in their 20,000 square foot palatial estate. They lived the same COVID restrictions that you did.
And back to something you were just talking about. It's so funny to me when a guy like Bill Gates is tasked with deciding the fate of civilians, a guy who hasn't been to a supermarket in 3 decades. He's supposed to tell me how this is going to impact my regular life or your regular life, you know? And he's an interesting one, man, going from a tech master to a vax master to a fake meat master. Like this guy knows everything.
Let me explain something to you. I'm a Christian. Right. I try as hard as I can to follow, in the footsteps of, there's a misconception when you're a Christian, and Kelly can vouch for this. When you're trying to be a good Christian, people go, hey, you made a mistake? I thought you were a Christian. Yeah, but I never said I'm perfect, idiot. I'm trying to walk in the footsteps, and I'm going to fall a bunch of times. But my point that I'm trying to get to is, especially with the Bible and reading into, what were you talking about? Like the Antichrist hasn't revealed himself yet. We don't know who the hell this thing is going to be. Bill Gates would be one of those candidates where I'm like, who the fuck? This guy, and by the way, did you guys see what Obama said at some speech the other day? I don't know if he was in England talking. He's like, yeah, that whole COVID experiment, we did all the testing on we did a test on 1 billion people. He might be on the list as well. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm a big believer still in the fact, like, if I know this guy's face or name, I kind of feel like they're just like vessels. Like, I feel like the people who are really making the choices, if we know their name, they're not important. If we know their face, they're not super important. But that's just me.
But think about how powerful those people must be to be able to control Bill Gates.
Absolutely.
With all of the money that Bill Gates has, all the assets.
Well, Rob,
that he has.
I think they listen, he's smart, he has the ideas. They let you get that. Like, hey, listen, nobody gets that rich and influential. That's why, like in Hollywood, and we keep hearing these stories, and trust me, we'll get into it, or all these music moguls or Sony or what they did with Michael Jackson, to get to here, we're the gatekeepers. You're never going to see our face. To let you in, we have to own your ass.
Yep.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, there's meetings where they're like, take off your pants. Do this. Bring a guy in there. And bro, this is a no-brainer because I can't give you the keys to the castle, so to speak, until I have, because by the way, it's my castle, but you're talented and you're good enough. We're going to give you this pedestal, but I'll be damned. Can you imagine them giving Taylor Swift all this power? And then Taylor one day goes like this, I'm Taylor Swift and I support Donald Trump. they're going to have a freaking heart attack.
Isn't that sort of what they're saying is happening with Justin Bieber now? Like, Justin Bieber was like the poster boy for everything for the longest time. He was the face of everything. If you could have gotten him to speak on your behalf, you're going to get a whole.
And what do you think happened to that guy?
Well, they said he found Christ, and now he's kind of feeling guilty about maybe some of the stuff that he was taught or he believed earlier. And where's Justin Bieber been for the last year?
Well, he had that stroke thing on his face, but for me, my personal,
and his wife too.
My personal opinion, and guys, and we can all have them. You could disagree if you want. I have a feeling, especially the shit that I saw with Diddy and the industry and the documentary that I just saw, bro, these young kids are fucking getting preyed upon.
Oh, yeah.
And when I saw videos of Diddy, and there's a video of Justin Bieber in a nightclub, and the camera turns, and Odell Beckham is standing there at a table in New York, and Odell Beckham's friend goes, hey, Justin Bieber's head is in his crotch, and they both come up, and they look like they were caught doing something. It's not abnormal for these people to take advantage of these kids, and I think Justin Bieber is one of those examples where he's like, bro, I have to turn to God because the stuff that they made me do, the stuff that I was involved in to get to Bieber level. If you see the videos of Justin Bieber, like younger women were like all over him on shows, older women, and like being perverted. He was uncomfortable on camera multiple times going, this is weird.
Well, to your point, Olivia Rodrigo, she's the new Justin Bieber age level person where they're kind of pushing it. And if you go to her concert, it comes with a free birth control Plan B pill.
Wait, what?
For any young teenage girl that wants one.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking at all. And there's condoms for the guys that want them too. This is a 21-year-old pop star.
And guess where she came from? She grew up in Disney Channel.
Yeah.
You have a problem with the condoms, though. Like, I have no issue with the condom, right? It's preventative.
Right.
It's protection. I have a problem with the Plan B because then, and I don't want to say that all girls would do this, but then if they're being given that and they use it once as a form of birth control, it opens that doorway to using Plan B as a birth control method, and that's not what it was intended for.
Well, my whole point is, you go to a concert, we used to be lucky if we got a CD of the artist that was performing,
or t-shirt,
or t-shirt. Now you're like, Mom, can I get some condoms and some Plan B? And the thing about it is, if Olivia Rodrigo said, I want to hand out Bibles to everyone, her sponsorships would dry up. She would never get another show, and that's what happened with Justin Bieber. And another guy that was on the good boy list for the longest time was Elon Musk. He's pushing everything they wanted. They wanted the electric cars. They wanted to go green. He's all about it. But as soon as he spoke out against him, it is a full court press right now to take Elon down.
Big time.
And what's great about him is he leans into it. Okay, you want to come after me? I'll double down and I'll post immigration videos. Go hard in the paint.
And I'm coming to you because have you, bro? And I know you guys have seen it. Go to Elon's X timeline for the past 6 months to a year. He has gone completely, like, he's woken up. Mind you, I'm still skeptical about the whole AI chips in the head, but he isn't, like you said, he is all in and he's anti-left, and I absolutely love it.
It's fun.
I love it. Chris, go ahead and closing.
Look, those are the scariest people to them, right? It's the people who reach that Bieber status or that Elon status where they actually do have serious influence over a generation. I think about it with LeBron in my field a lot, with sports.
Yeah.
It's a guy who actually does have the ear of an entire generation, or a girl, Taylor Swift, who can completely get a group of people, a full demographic, on board or off board. When they decide to, step out and say something they're not supposed to, they're terrifying.
Dude, have you genuinely seen any of her concerts? Kelly, you've seen these? Have you seen her concerts, Taylor Swift?
Yep.
Guys, there's cameras on TikTok of she starts singing a song they've all heard a million times. They're crying and falling and fainting. Like, I'm talking about Michael Jackson status, where it's like, bro, music, it's so influential. And you're right. All she has to do, bro, if Taylor Swift went on stage or just did a commercial that she paid for and went, hey, guys, buy Fiji water, I'm telling you right now, the stock would freaking skyrocket. Well, it's very, very influential and powerful.
The screaming and the crying as they watch her perform and everything. You know what that is, right?
Hysterics?
That is a religious experience.
100%.
As people have become less religious, they have substituted it with other things.
Yeah. And you see how powerful she is, too, because she took one of the biggest brands in the the NFL is a $8 billion a year business, and she just jacked it up like 5 notches. She took the NFL to a place I never even seen the NFL, which is just crazy.
But one thing, I think that those girls hopefully will grow out of that phase of listening. Because listen, I was one of those crying, like Springsteen.
Taylor Swift?
No, Springsteen. Which okay, I don't like his policies. I don't like his politics.
He's a douchebag.
But I love his music. I grew up in
too.
Jersey. That was the music that we listened to growing up. When he plays "Born to Run," I'm a
You're
baby.
running.
There's
You're
tears.
running.
But
You're
guess
running.
what? As I grew up, I started paying attention to the news, reading, educating myself, and I can enjoy his art,
Yes.
but hate his politics.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I can separate the two. Hopefully, this generation of Taylor Swift fans gets to that same point.